Hello, Leo. I'm going to do your reading again and include December because it's taken so long to upload your reading that now we're in a new season. Wonderful. Sorry, my internet has been compromised for a few days now. No worry, we proceed. So I have a lot of notes now because we're looking at mid-November all the way until we're looking at all of Sagittarius season all the way until the end of December. So let's start with right now. It's very obvious to everybody around you right now that you are in an adventurous space. You may be, aside from wanting to branch out in terms of work, that's Saturn direct really, that has you focusing on making a plan. It's a great time to do so. Your instincts are leading you in the right direction as long as you keep at that search and really make it like an intellectual thing. Here we have that Gemini card. So use your power of persuasion, use your charm, melt people's hearts if you need to get what you want. You know, anything that you can do to kind of ease the financial strain right now, go ahead and do it. But also understand at the same time that any financial strain that you may feel right now is really there. I know it's going to sound annoying, but it's there to teach you a lesson in responsibility. We're all learning this lesson right now. There's a lot that we can do without, but I think it may hit you particularly hard because part of what's so fun about being a Leo is like all the accoutrement, all the things that you do and have and get to do. And by no means do I mean, or am I trying to imply that you're materialistic? Not at all. It just means that you have, you like to do things in steps, right? So you have products and tools and preparation for each of those steps. And that applies to everything from your skincare to your beauty regimen to your work to the way your home is set up or the way your space is set up. So some of this may seem to you as if you're having to get rid of necessities. But this time from mid-November to mid-December will teach you what is a necessity and what actually is a luxury. Now, as ridiculous as it may sound, I would also suggest you start watching The Hunger Games because there is a starkness to which you should become more comfortable. And within that starkness, perhaps you can start to find your comfort again. So with needing less or needing something that seems less frivolous, but within that, how can you find yourself? Because the question that then comes up once this process starts within you is like a question of identity, right? Like, who am I if I'm not these things? I remember once in high school, I had an extemp debate against a fellow classmate, and we were debating the pros and cons of communism. And at one point she said, well, you know, in communism, you don't even get to decide if you want pink toilet paper. And I said, well, far be it for me to rather, you know, have equality and freedom than pink fucking toilet paper. I didn't realize that's what we were doing here. I didn't realize we were all striving, you know, for the, so not that I'm trying to push, you know, my ideas on you. I'm just saying that you will have this sort of thought process. And, you know, don't take it out on your circumstances. Really learn how to see your circumstances as simply a reflection of whichever question of the test that you're on at the present moment. So if you are feeling a financial squeeze, instead of thinking to yourself, oh, is God punishing me? Or, oh, have I lost my touch? Or, you know, is it bad luck? Or anything like that. Instead, step back and view it as a question on the test that you're getting stumped on. And perhaps that will give you the direction and the motivation to start trying to find a solution instead of bemoaning your fate. And I'm not saying that you guys do that, but sometimes when it comes to finances, like in every other way, you're like, no, I'm cool, I love myself. But sometimes when it comes to finances, we can start to have this gnawing thought that perhaps it is somehow judgmental, that we're going through a hard time, that perhaps we've done something to incur the wrath of the universe, God, whatever you believe in. So I would like to directly counter that by saying something else. I think times of austerity can actually make us a lot stronger and can actually raise our standards. So instead of times of lack making us desperate, if we have enough pride and enough strength and enough belief in ourselves, then that time of lack actually teaches us something about what our standards should be, what we should be allowing, and what just is not good enough. And the way that happens, I think, is that once you have that humbling experience yourself where you have to really, feel an economic squeeze, and you think to yourself like, okay, from now on I have to be a lot more responsible. You would think that that would make you kind of run towards somebody, a job, a person that would help alleviate whatever, even if it's mild stress that you may be feeling. However, that's not what happens at all. And I attribute that solely to you being a Leo. But also we have to remember there's very, very strong Mars energy right now in this Scorpio. In this Scorpio placement, okay? In the sign of Scorpio, we have Mars. So we have this really strong, very high sense of self. So instead of our time of let's say stress, instead of it making us weaker, instead of it making you weaker, instead of it making you perhaps accept crumbs because it's better than nothing, right? Accept a job that's not good enough or doesn't pay enough, or whatever it is that you're not, like, it's not enough for you. If you don't accept it, and if you are willing to play the game of patience, because this is and you have to play the game of patience without getting like fed up and starting to disbelieve and starting to panic and starting to despair. You have to wait in glorious and joyful expectation for money. It is when you wait in glorious expectation, and even though it doesn't show up right in that moment and like put itself in your hand, you don't slip into a place of despair, a place where you pull yourself out of the now and put yourself somewhere else that's no longer exists. So you literally are, jumping yourself, jumping yourself to a void that doesn't exist anymore. The power of waiting actively, Scorpio season has shown us, but you continue to hold that energy, you continue to wait, and you let Saturn direct do what it's doing. If you don't accept what's too little for you, I promise you that the next 10-12 days are some of the most satisfying of the year. You just, no matter what you see or feel, if you know in your gut that it's not good enough and it's not what you want, and you guys always know and you always honor it from what I've seen, even if you don't know how to explain it to anybody, even if it makes you the bad guy, even if it really puts you in trouble, you still can't help it. Just continue to be that incredibly patient person, and you have a late November that is insanely satisfying. But just don't let your adventurousness, your tendency to flirt as the sun moves into a fire sign, don't let that kind of let you come unhinged. And instead of focusing on this stuff and really like even noticing that you're getting financially squeezed, instead of focusing on bullshit over here, even though you're charming and you can get what you want out of people, you need to focus over here. Okay, because I know it's a bad combination. You're feeling really good and people are really attracted to you and you're melting hearts, but at the same time you have something really serious over here that you need to look at. Especially if Saturn direct has made it clear to you that you can't work where you work anymore. You just can't. For one reason or another, you just can't fucking do it. Okay, so that is the next 10 days. And I'm just going to show you these cards real quick. And then we're going to go on and do December right now as well. I just want you to see these cards real fast. And I want to shuffle a little bit more. Hold, please. Here we go. Sorry. Okay. So. When we look at the first three cards, you may be feeling like, like doubtful of yourself. You may be feeling like you've had too much fun, spent too much money, you made too many mistakes. You should have been more careful. Like you might be deeply regretting having spent money. But I don't think you're realizing that the reason you regret it the way that you do is because you haven't quite learned the lesson yet of the entire, course of events here. So if we were to crystallize what it is you're supposed to learn for the next 10, 12 days, let's shuffle on that and see what it says, see what the cards say, and then I'll tell you what I think. I got a microphone for the setup and it actually works really well. All the mics were sounding like trash. I just didn't like them. And I don't know what it is about that lavalier mic. So we have the Ace of Swords, the Three of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and the Two of Swords. This is not judgment. How you are feeling right now is not meant to make you feel isolated. It's meant to open your eyes to the fact that even in times of abundance, you were asking for too little. And now in times of somewhat scarcity, you will be asked to honor yourself and ask for more. And that asking for more is based on a lot of hard work that you've done. Whether this is wanting more from a partner, a job, a friendship, it doesn't matter. But it's only when you have been deprived of your normal reality that you start to see how many different ways you have subjugated your spirit. So if there is a Gemini in your life right now and you've been having a little too much fun with them, the Four of Pentacles here says, okay, now it's time to save your money. And that sets you up for late, spring next year, feeling very successful and perhaps even moving. It doesn't have to be an unpleasant move. You could even start looking for places now just to prep your mind. But things start to move in about, really move in about 6 months from now. So what we want to be doing for the next 6 months is just honing that skill. That skill of being able to take everything good about yourself and direct it in such a way that people want to give you things, and they want to give you things at the level that you're at. And the way that you show people the level that you're at and that you want something is that you never try to compete with them about level, and you never ask them for anything. Leos are too proud to be birds. All right. So we have 10 of Cups and the 2 of Wands in reverse. There may be something here to the whole travel, pick love or adventure, or pick the new world, or stability, pick the new world, or my family. You're having a lot of up and down about this when it's really obvious that you really want to go and that you want to remain where you go. Perhaps stop trying so hard to get in anyone's good graces that doesn't appreciate you. Yeah, man, let's look at the December stuff. I'm sorry it's only 10 days, 12 days or so. We'll do December right now. Love you.